Good afternoon, everybody. The time is 6 o'clock. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Mark, can you lead us in an invocation, please?
Let's pray. Father, we come to you today and we thank you for another beautiful day, and we thank you for the time we have together as a community and discuss the business of the city. We ask your blessings on our city. We ask your guidance with our elected officials as they make decisions, and maybe they be the best that can be for our city. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen.
At this time, we have a few visitors' remarks. I want to start off with Mohammed Khan. If you'd like to come up to the podium, you have 5 minutes to speak. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. While back in 2005, I bought some lots here at Highway 100, and recently I noticed that there used to be Ratima Street on the side, on the old thing, and I think that street is disappeared now from the map. And they give it to the neighbors, the one who have a mobile home park behind my lots, they gave it to him, or somehow they adjust him. Due to that, my property value go down because when I purchase it, I have a plan to make a two axis, one on the side, one on the front. Right now, I cannot make on the side because they owned by somebody else now. So I just letting you guys to do, if you can do something. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Manuel Abrigo, if you'd like to approach the podium, you got 5 minutes to speak, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm here in reference to item number 2, which is the service agreement with the air show. It's amazing that we've had it 3 times in the last 30 days addressed here at the City Council or in City Hall. But I might want to tell you a little bit of how the CDC works. The CDC gets its funding from sales tax. The sales tax here in Los Fresnos is 8.25. The state gets 6.25. So the city ends up with 2. But half of those 2%, half of it is dedicated for the CDC. So this past year, for example, they had budgeted that the CDC was going to get $410,000. And like any other budget, they make line items and they pay bills. They do an awesome job in sponsoring promotions. Little League, $18,000 this year. The Boys and Girls Club. I can go on and on. Christmas, Halloween, 4th of July. So, but a little bit on the figures. I called the comptroller's office in Austin to find out how this formula works. 10% of that budget should be used for promotions. In other words, they can't just get all 410,000 and start throwing it. It's only 10%, up to 10%, and you go a little bit over, a little bit under, and we usually do a good job. This year, we budgeted $32,000, but we've already spent $46,000. And I know you can do a budget amendment and zero out everything, but I think that You need to look at that. I don't think the CDC looked at that. The air show is a good, I've seen it, I love it personally. They came in and asked for 5,000. The CDC turned around and tried to give them $7,500. Well, when we use that 0.5% from our city, from sales tax, that's from restaurants, from Julia, Walmart, Stripes, they gotta sell $1.5 million. If we give them $5,000, our merchants have to sell $1 million in sales. And it's statewide, it's not just here in Los Fresnos. So this coming year, but one of the things that really bothers me is that the rodeo, the chamber, all these other that have service agreements have come before the CDC, and they even not only got their money, but they spent their money. They came before the CDC last month and already asked money for next year. The rodeo people here, the air show, they have, 6-7 weeks. They're pressing for time. And I'm saying that if you do agree to give them funds, at least maybe we can get something out of it. Some tickets for the Boys and Girls Club, maybe tickets for the senior citizens. I know that the Conjunto Fest has agreed to give out 250 tickets to the CDC to pass out. So I think that's something that you need to look at. It's out of our trade zone. It's 10.2 miles away, and it's good. It's what they do, but you might want to ask the merchants here how they feel about sponsoring something way out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abrego. The time is 6:07. I open up the public hearing to receive comments from the property owners concerning the rezoning of Block 96, Lot 1-14, Block 116, Lot 1-14, and Block 117, Lots 1 through 14, Los Fresnos original town site.
Where is that located?
It's off of between Mesquite and Palma Street, between 6th and 7th Street. It's 3 blocks that were zoned manufactured housing many years ago. And manufactured housing forbids any single-family homes to be built there, even though there's 23 there. There's more homes than there's 7 mobile homes and then 2 vacant lots. And so the person came to want to put a single-family home, and we can't allow it because of that. So he's asked that it be allowed to be single-family zoned, and then if people want to put a mobile home, they can still request a conditional use to do that. So that's what's before you.
So it is owned for mobile homes to be located there?
Only mobile homes. You couldn't build a home today.
At this time,
Message sent around to the neighborhoods there about the rezoning?
Yes, sir.
At this time, if no other comments on the public hearing in regards to D1, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing for that at 6:09. Moving on to consent agenda items. For any, the council has any of the consent agenda items that they would like for me to separate? If not, we can make a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 8.
I move that we approve the consent agenda items 1 through 8 as stated.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made by Mr. Lopez and Mr. Herrera to approve consent agenda items 1 through 8. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All council has motioned, and all those in favor, not in favor, do as well. And motion carries. Moving on to the action items. The first action item, consideration and action to approve an ordinance 529 rezoning of Block 96, Lot 1 through 14, Block 116, Lots 1 through 14, and Block 117, Lots 1 through 14. This is the Los Fresnos original town site for manufactured housing to a single-family district. I think Mark just ended up covering this. This was an area that is zoned for manufactured homes, and it seems like we have more single-family homes there than we do manufactured, and I think the consent agenda item will rezone it. Is that correct, Mark, to single-family?
Yes, sir, you would approve it on the first reading, and then you'd have to bring it back for second reading next meeting.
Okay, but mobile manufactured homes will still be able to, to be able to put another home on their property, right, if they wanted to?
They would have to ask for what they call a conditional use.
Okay, any questions or comments from any of the council? If not, anybody want to make a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Okay, motion has been made by Mr. Ortiz and by Mr. Narvaez to make a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose do the same. Motion carries. Action item number 2, consideration and action to approve a service agreement with the Commemorative Air Force Show. At this time, it was brought to my attention that there's some legality in regards to having this on the agenda item. So at this time, we won't be making a motion until we seek our legal guidance from our city attorney. And we can always put this back on the agenda at a later time. Thank you. Action item number 3, consideration and action to approve city to fill potholes and Escalante Road. This is considered a private road. Now, at this time, I do have a visitor remark that would wish to speak at this time. Her name is Lisa Lewis. If she would like to come up to the podium, she will have 5 minutes to speak. Thank you, and welcome.
My concerns are the potholes.
Can you speak up to the mic, please? Thank you.
My concerns are the potholes at the entrance and towards the middle of the road. We've had this problem for about, I think the last time that it got fixed was about 8 years ago. I have family and friends that live there. They pay taxes, and supposedly, I don't know if it's true, that half of the road is county and half of the road is city. The part of the city is the worst part that the road is. The holes are like maybe 6 inches deep. There's nowhere where we can maneuver our cars. It's really, really bad. And when it rains, we can't see where the potholes are because of the rain. And I would like to know if it's city-owned, partly city-owned, and partly county, part county and part city. And if it's, I mean, before when the county had it, we had no problems in them fixing it. They would fix it like every 3 years. Those are my concerns. On the private road, I would like for y'all to explain to me how it is a privately owned road and who owns it. And those are my questions and my concerns.
Mark, do you have any information for her on the charter? I guess in regards to it being a private road?
I'll try to answer all the questions. When we annexed that area, we contacted the county. They said it was a private road. They said they had maintained it in the past. They had stopped maintaining it. And that was some years ago. My understanding now is they are filling some holes in the back. It's about halfway The first half is city limits, and as you go towards the back, it goes into county area. The road, county road representative said that they have put some caliche in some holes recently for them. He said we probably shouldn't because it is a private road and there has been some legal issues with that in the county prior where a person had done work in the county, on a private road, and you shouldn't because it's not owned by the county and it's not part of the county road system. As far as who owns the road, best we can tell, the private owners along that road own where people are driving. I did ask our Hanson Professional Services is a city engineer. I've asked them to get a survey crew and to survey from the beginning to where the city limits ends and show us where the existing road is, where the existing boundaries are to the properties. Quite a few people own along the what I call the left side. The right side is mostly school. Some of it is the Escalante family. They have already done research on the deeds. It looks like maybe one or two of the deeds might say something about an easement for a road, but it's not specific. So what they've got to do is take all of those deeds and the meets and bounds and plot them, each property, plot the road, overlay that, and then if there is an easement for road, plot that, and then we can determine what to do. If it is what we think it is, which is owned by the people that own the property, for it to become a city street, they need to deed that area over to the city, bring it up to a city street standard, and then it'll become part of the city, the city street system, and we will maintain it from there on. That's what's required of a developer. If a developer wants to build a road, they can do that. It doesn't prevent the city from participating in that. Some cities do it, some cities don't. I think I've addressed all of the questions. The action tonight is it could develop a precedence. So I want you to know that up front. There's a Tandy Road that's near 803 that is also a private road. We already know that there's no road easement there. There wasn't a question about that. And those people have to maintain their road. If you fix the potholes here, the people of Tandy Road could come to you and say, you did theirs, why don't you do ours? Also, the people on Escalante Road 2 years from now could come back and say, hey, you fixed it 2 years ago, remember, so why don't you fix it now? All I'm saying is it sets a precedence. I'm okay with us, because they are taxpayers of our city, and there is some confusion about whether there's any dedicated road right of way there or not. And so with that in mind, that's why I recommend approval, but specifically for this one time only, while our engineers determine the boundaries and the proper boundaries, and then come back to you, and then you'll have to still decide what you want to do from there if it is in fact
And what would be a cost of that? I mean, just to fix the immediate potholes that are like nearer the road?
under $1,000.
Yeah.
There's some
So it would be a
pretty
one-time
large
thing
ones.
just to help out during this time, until we determine, based on the
Right.
research and the legalities of all that.
Mr. Chairman,
yeah.
I'll move that we do a one-time repair, no more than $1,000 expenditures on this road until we resolve the issue. If they're paying taxes to our city, we need to do all we can to help them.
Candy Road, we had a situation like this similar, a couple of years ago, and we voted not to help them. Is that correct, Mark?
Yes, sir. And like I said, there was a little bit different situation there is because we already knew that there was absolutely no road easement. The residents even admitted that there is no road easement there. And so that was a little bit different than this.
I just don't want there to be favoritism and say, we fixed Jaime Escalante Road, but what about Tandy Road? And those residents are gonna be coming in with their
They still will
concern.
say that.
Mark,
You got to know that they will, that will be but hey, you've got to,
'Cause at this
make
time,
those
this is not our
decisions.
responsibility, but we're willing to, this one time, cover those potholes, especially right in the front. Those are the ones we're targeting.
Mark, at this point then, you're saying we don't know who the road belongs to?
correct. It appears that there is no road right of way for Escalante Road.
Okay, how
All
long
of-
will it
all
take
of
to
that-
find out?
Excuse me?
How long will it take to find out who has ownership of that?
They'll be doing surveys a couple of months.
Okay, what I'm thinking is, are we just gonna leave these people there hanging? If we can help, fine, but, can you advocate with them or for them, with the county or whoever has ownership of the property so that they can know who to go to and how to proceed, and maybe you might.
So at this time,
bring,
Commissioner Herrera has made a motion
what's going on.
to $1,000 to fix the pothole this one time while we resolve this issue.
Excuse me.
He already made a
this is part of
motion.
the discussion.
I understand, but he made a
But it
motion
hasn't
already.
been- No second has been made yet.
I understand, but he made a motion, so at this time, does anybody second
understand.
the motion?
I second the motion.
Okay, motion has
Okay.
been made by Mr. Munoz and Mr. Herrera to
Okay,
approve a
so-
$1,000, excuse me.
So
The
now-
motion has been made. I apologize, but the motion has been made.
Yes,
Motion has been
but
made by
we should still
Commissioner
discuss
Herrera
the issue.
and Commissioner Munoz. All those
Mayor.
in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor,
Motion has been made by
Part
Mr.
of
Lopez, Mr.
procedure.
Herrera, Mr. Flores, and Mr. Munoz. All those in favor that are not in
Mayor.
favor of this signify as well.
part of the procedure says that after the motion is made, there should be room for further discussion.
Motion
You
has been
should
made, it's
allow-
been
Just
seconded.
because you made a.
You're
first
out of
and a
order.
second
You're out of order.
Doesn't mean that you have to vote.
You're out of order. The motion has been made and the motion has been approved.
I don't believe that I'm out of order because.
I'm sorry,
there
we're gonna
should
move
be
on to
room
the
for
next one.
discussion. Otherwise,
Yeah, we can.
I mean, you make a motion and we have to vote on it? And
Motion has
there's no
been made
vote
to
for further
approve
discussion?
consideration and
That's not
action
correct,
to
sir.
fill the potholes on Escalante Road. This is considered a private road and we've already motioned on that.
Mayor, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I would like the record to show that I am abstaining from the vote because I own some property on that particular road, and I don't think I should be voting on it.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz.
Sir, I would recommend that you learn how to follow procedure. And I would also recommend the same thing to Mr. Herrera because after a motion has been made and seconded, there should be room for further discussion if you look at Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay, moving on to action item number 4. Consideration and action to utilize excess funds from 2020-2021 fiscal year for the needed purchase. Mark, any further information on action item number 4?
Not unless there's questions.
Does anybody have any questions or comments in regards to action item number 4? At this time, would anybody like to make a motion for action item number 4?
I move that we approve the utilization of excess funds.
I second that. So motion has been made by Mr. Lopez and Mr. Flores to approve action item number 4. All those in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand. Aye. And all those who oppose do the same. Motion carries. Action item number 4 has been approved. Moving on to action item number 5, consideration and action to approve to authorize the city manager to work with the city engineer to develop the street bid package for the street repairs. Mark, is this the one in regards to the streets that we need to work on for the, I think it's 5th and 10th or something like that?
It's in your packet on page 57. The recommendations in the northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast, and what we would include as a base bid and then an alternate bid. We also have other streets on the next page, 58, that we need to address at some time in the future, but don't have the funds at this time. But we do have the funds to be able to do that part of the project as long as bids come in what we think they will. It will be like we did a couple years ago. The bids came in and they were actually lower, so we were able to add a few streets.
Does the council have any questions in regards to action item number 5? Any questions or comments?
This is gonna be a complete repair or just a top layer or?
It will depend on the street. Some streets will require curb and gutter because the curbs are laid over. Some of it will be just take the top off and rehab it, and then others will be a complete rebuild. Hopefully the base is good on it, and there'll be less of completely rebuild, because that way the money goes further.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Munoz. Would anybody like to make a motion?
So move that it be approved.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Ortiz and Commissioner Munoz to approve action item number 5. All those in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
And all those who oppose do the same. Motion carries. Action item number 6, consideration and action to acknowledge the Finance Director's certification of the estimated ad valorem tax collection rate for 2020 and the excess debt tax collection for 2020 tax year. Any comments, Mark, at this time on that?
No comment. You can see the rate is 106.5, and that's due to prior year's collections, which is very good. And the estimated debt collection surplus is $24,729.
Any questions or comments from the council?
The amount that is gonna be over is because the other houses that we have annexed inside or what?
I didn't understand the question.
Yeah, my question is, we're gonna have the same tax roll, but it shows that it's gonna be, let me see where it says. They say it's gonna be over, around 400 and some thousand. Is that because of the houses that came in when we annexed, or that's just, you're gonna add on to the other year?
I don't know where you're getting that information. The information on this is on page 59 on the collections. And it shows the estimated ad valorem tax collection rate for 2020 is 106.5, and that's due to the prior year's debt collections. And then because of that estimated additional debt, our excess will be $24,729.
My understanding of that is that they have done a good job in collections, and they have collected some delinquent accounts.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody want to make a motion for action item number 6? Motion has been made by Commissioner Ortiz. Anybody second that?
Second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Herrera. At this time, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those who oppose do the same. And motion carries for action item number 6. Moving on to action item number 7, consideration and action to acknowledge the Cameron Appraisal District Chief Appraisal Certification of the 2021 tax roll. Any questions or comments from the board in regards to action item number 7?
I move that we approve the Cameron County Appraisal District certification. There's nothing that we can do that would change, so just accept it.
Commissioner Ortiz has made a motion to approve. Anybody second that?
I
make a
second.
Second has been made by Commissioner Narvaez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all those who oppose do the same. And motion carries to approve action item number 7. Moving on to action item number 8, consideration and action to acknowledge the calculations of the city's no new revenue and voter approval tax rate for the 2021, for the tax year 2021 and for fiscal year 2021-2022. At this time, do we have any questions or comments from any of the board? If not,
No
anybody
questions,
want
so
to?
there's not gonna be any changes with regard to the tax rate? I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, at this time, anybody want to make a motion on that?
I move that we approve.
Okay, motion has been made by Commissioner Narvaez. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second that.
Second motion has been made by Commissioner Ortiz. Motion has been made. All those in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 All those who oppose do the same. Motion carries. Moving on to action item number 9, consideration and action to propose a tax rate for the tax year of 2021. Take a record vote if proposed tax rate exceeds the lower of the no new revenue or voter approval, and set dates for public hearing if necessary. Any questions or comments in regards to action item number 9? If not, would anybody like to make a motion for action item number 9?
I so move.
And I'll second that.
The motion has been made by Commissioner, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mark.
On this one, you need to take a record vote, which is each one of you, instead of a motion and a second, each one of you say yes or no on the support of keeping the rate of 71.5, just like it's been for the last 14 years.
At this time, Commissioner Narvaez has voted yes, and
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz has voted yes. Is that correct?
Yes?
Commissioner Herrera has voted yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez has voted yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Munoz has voted yes, and Mayor Alejandro Flores has voted yes.
Thank
At this time, we would like to acknowledge the acknowledgement of the city manager's reports. Anybody have any questions or comments about that, or want to make a motion?
I have a comment or a request, I guess. I know that I missed the last meeting, and the one prior to that, you made a report on people that had been annexed, but had not all of them have the full services. One's missing water, maybe another, the sewer. And they also stated in an email that the right-of-ways were being looked at to see, so that they, these services could then be put in. I wonder if we could, for the next meeting, have an update on that as to where we are with the right-of-ways and
Will do.
Any other questions or comments about acknowledgement of city manager reports? If not, anybody want to make a motion?
Mark, how we doing on the Henderson Street?
Sir?
What was your comment, Commissioner Munoz? Or your question?
No, never mind. I was gonna ask for the Stanford Road
Something about Stanford Road
on the FM and 1575.
on
Branch.
1575.
Yes, sir. No change from what letter I sent you on Friday, which was the intersection itself was still full of water. We had our guys, because the state wouldn't do it and the county wouldn't do it, so trying to get this moving along, we went and pumped those areas out on Saturday. I did not go over there today. Yesterday it was drying pretty good. State says they will be out there to mow, as well as the county, along those bar ditches And then they can, after they get that done, they will start cutting the ditches according to the elevations that Mr. Flores has gotten from Drainage District number 4. And hopefully that fixes the drainage part. On the manholes and the lines, we have a gentleman that's supposed to start tomorrow or Thursday working on those to fix those manholes so they don't leak. And hopefully that both of those things help resolve the problem.
Mark, how about the Henderson Road project as far as that, that part they're working on that's closer to 1575? Any ETA on when that would be complete?
They were supposed to be out there today. I did not go check to see if they were. They were supposed to have been there yesterday, but their crew got COVID, and so they're having to split some crews from another one. When one crew gets somebody in there, they have to all isolate. So, but they were supposed to have a partial crew there today. I did not check to see if they did.
Thank you.
On the bike trail, Mark, I haven't, at the nature park, I haven't seen anybody working in probably 2 months. Not one person. Are they working on another area, or they're just not working at all?
Yes, sir. They're working where the canal crossing is, trying to finish the irrigation canal crossing. And once they do that, the goal is to have it paved from the back of the nature park to here 100 by the end of August.
Thank you.
Mark, and on the benches that we have to put out there that we can do, are those going to be available along the hike and bike trail? And can a regular person also, you know, apply for one, maybe even through where he's saying to the back of the nature park? Can we put some back there?
Yes, sir. If someone comes in, like someone came in last week and wanted to donate and wanted memory of someone, we asked them where they would like it, as long as it fits and doesn't cause a problem. We'll approve wherever they wish. Of course, we don't want to put it in a bad place, but
Of course.
we need plenty. So,
Sounds good. Thank you, Mark, for that. Anybody would like to make any more comments or questions about the city manager reports? If not, anybody would like to make a motion?
So moved to accept the city manager's report.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Lopez
Second.
and second by Commissioner Herrera. All those in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand. Aye. And all those who oppose do the same. Moving on to the acknowledgement of the department head reports. Any questions or comments? Anybody want to make a motion?
I move that we accept the department heads' reports as written.
I second.
A motion has been made first by Commissioner Lopez and seconded by Commissioner Narvaez. All those in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand. Aye. All those who oppose do the same. Motion carries. At this time, it's 6:39. We would be entering a closed session. And we'll be back. Thank you.
Didn't we skip one item?
Okay, the closed session is just closed at 7:40. Open the meeting back up again at 7:40, open session. And deliberation and possible action on the following: evaluation and duties of city manager, public works, director, IT. Police commander, assistant police chief, chief of police, librarian, finance director, and city secretary. Do we have to take action on this, Mark? Alrighty. Option K, budget workshop. At this time, Mark, do you want to take over on the budget workshop?
Okay, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, what I wanted to do is if we could go over revenue tonight, and pretty easy to go through because we look at last year and project out, so it becomes pretty simple. As you can see, the first is just a summary of all of them, and we show total revenues. Last year was $4,325,389. This year we budgeted $3,971,717, which was conservative, as you can see. We're projecting that we'll have $4,770,773, and we're proposing for this year a budget of $4,388,333. I'll go down below that and start with each line item. You can see about midway in your paper there, it says current property taxes. And that is calculated by the appraisal district's figure that you approved tonight and calculating in the 71.5. And so we compute that we'll get $1,260,010, and we do it at it's pretty standard for people to do it at a 95% collection rate. We end up getting more than that, but it's pretty standard to use 95. If you've heard Linebarger, Goggin, Blair representatives, when they've come, they brag about Los Fresnos, and our collection rate is always very good. We have phenomenal people that live in our community that pay their taxes and pay them well on time. So they always brag about that. So as you can see, it's a little bit above last year, but we have increased values. They did not break it down. The appraisal district did not break it down into new home building or business versus new valuations. But if you've looked around, you've seen a lot of new home building. So a large amount of increases due to that. Then the next four lines is just the delinquent taxes, the property tax discount that we give in October, November, and December, and then the penalties and interest. You can see those are pretty steady. So we just kept them right about the same amount. So the next one is city sales tax. Last year we got $1,337,894. We projected $1,351,351. We're probably going to hit around $1,500,000 because we're just having phenomenal increases. We never know when that stops. So as you notice, I'm proposing $1,500,000. I'm not proposing that we increase any. Do I think that we're going to continue to increase? Yes, I do. There's business development will be coming. I know it will. So I think that number will be higher, but if we're conservative, then I can come to you later in the year and say, hey, you know, you wanted to do this project, and y'all talked about this through the year. Well, we can do that now. And we got the money for it because we're conservative. I'd rather do that than come to you and say, sir, we don't have money. We don't have enough money. And so my tenure here has always been that way, and we've been very good about making that happen. So that's the sales tax. The next line is garbage fees. We don't make a lot on garbage fees, but just kind of doing processing. We're projecting they'll stay the same. If you remember when you extended the agreement, it froze the increase for this year. So there will not be an increase to us, which does two things. This the same revenue, but it also freezes it. We don't have to go to our residents and say, remember the $20, and we go to the 21 or 22. Y'all made a wise decision to stay at 20, and now we can hold that again another at least. And so that was very good. So as you can see, the garbage fees like 130,000 last year. Last year we're going to hit 111. We budgeted 103. You'll say, well, why is it down from last year? It was because of that increase that they did to us last year. But we didn't increase to the residents, which is fine. Don't mind that at all. Municipal court fine fees. COVID had some blessings in it. Last year we had court revenue of $494,000. We budgeted $460,000. We're going to get $615,000. We're not going to project next year because we feel that there has been a lot of prior fines paid because of the money that was given. And so the individuals said, you know what, I get this extra money for COVID. I still have a job. Let me pay off this ticket that I couldn't pay before. That's the only thing I can think of is the old bills that's happening because actually our citations are way down. We're way less citations than we've ever given. So you would think revenue would be down, but it's not because the collections of it are very good. The rest of those fees underneath there are required by state law. On each citation. Some of it is like court tech fees, and then truancy prevention fund, and so. Those are set by the state. There's only two of them that have to be done. Three of them that have we track security, which is covered by the bailiff, judge. It's only $735, so we pay the judge way more than that. Child safety fund is another one. There's specific citations that are done, and we get that money, and we reinvest it into child safety. And there's projects the police department does throughout the year that takes care of those funds as far as the expenditure. Anyway, so you can see the municipal fines. We're going up a little bit because of the increase. The next one is police education from the state. They give us training money. Not a lot. $1,500. We use it for training and given to every department across. I think the nation. I think it's a federal deal. I'm sure it's a state. One. It could be a federal. And it's so much per officer. And it just comes every year. That's that one. Below there you see the grant revenue for OSG overtime and Stone Garden, and that's where we do drug interdiction things, and it's a grant that's given every year. And that grant amount is $17,770. The next page you can see. Grant revenue, LBSP. That is what they call Border Star. And that's another grant that's comes through for drug interdiction and helping patrol the main highways. And that's $30,000. Reimbursement, community health, $60,000. That's our community health worker that does that program. And they are saying that that'll be funded at the same amount. And so those total grants, those $109,000. You can see that this last year we had the 92,000, 217, and the 215, and the 215, 434. They had to do with COVID, and the reimbursement we got from the state for helping with the vaccination clinics and some of those expenditures that we had for COVID. The service contract for the school district. They have some radios on our system that we pay the fees for, but then they reimburse us. They also ask us to help them with the security at the football game, varsity football games, on the nights that they have those. The JV games, they handle their own, but they ask for help because of the large crowds. That number is reflected there. In this agreement that comes to you each year. And it'll be right at $22,168. Hotel motel tax. You see, looks like it's going up a little bit again. The gentleman that's there now, and much better job. It had dropped down to like $12,000 a couple years ago. So it's building back up. That hotel motel tax. And so that's $18,800. The next group, if you can see, they're all very similar from one year to the next. They don't increase very much. And so we don't project a large increase. Last year we had 413,837. End up with 507. We're projecting 418,500. So very steady. Which you like. So that is very good. The next line item is license and permits. And that's a reflection of building. Continues to increase. Last year was 138,942. We conservatively budgeted 130, and we're saying 145. But it's actually probably going to be bigger than that. A lot of construction, and people getting permits for building. Right under that, you see rental fees for community center parks and senior citizens building security. All of those are rental that people pay to rent. If you'll notice down last year, we did that because of COVID, and we budgeted low. But you're starting to see people rent those again. And so we'll see how that goes. It's not large amounts, but like community centers, 10,000. 3 or 4 lines down there is processing fee. I wanted to make a comment on that. Last year was 18,115. We budgeted 15,000. We're gonna hit around 27,000. And that's revenue. And people use that. They pay a lot of fines on their fines, and so the fee is charged to them. So that's the revenue we get from there. And as you can see, we never had that amount. So we don't have years before this. But I remember being under $10,000. Just a lot of people paid in person. And there's more people paying online. And utilizing that tool these days. The rest of those, all of that. If you can see from one year to the next is the same. No big difference. Until you get down to I wanted to mention reimbursement, fire department, EMS. Be sure that you understand what that is. get insurance as a contractor under the city, and so it's bundled with our policy. Charge them when we get billed. Our finance department bills them, and so that's a reimbursement. You can see it was. Last year, 76,309. This year, it's turned out to be 73,160, and we're projecting to be about 75, and so when we get to expenditures on the EMS and fire side, you'll see that you add the insurance up, and it'll equal 75,000 that we're budgeting. Just wanted to be sure you knew that it was.
How about the library revenue?
Excuse me?
The library revenue, what does that go down? Just kind of curious.
We're
1,500 to 600.
Yes, COVID. A lot of usage of computers were not used for a while. There's a timer that they have, and they can use so much. We figure it'll go back up. It's not a huge amount. So we said, you know what? Let me keep 600, and 600, and it goes to 15 like it was before. We're not hurt.
How about miscellaneous income? What is that? Classification.
I think one of those was to get liens dropped off. I'll have to look and see specific for that 33,000. But it's different things that don't fit within the other revenue, but it's not an ongoing occurrence where we want to create a line item. It's an ongoing occurrence. We want to make a line item for that.
Okay, just saw the big difference. I was just kind of curious what that was.
Well, if you'll see the year before, it was 27,800. And you said, well, why did you budget 5,000? It's miscellaneous income. You never know. We never know those things. So we budget low. As you notice, we're higher than we were last year. 33,000. If you notice, we also budgeted again low because it's all one-time things that occur that come in through the year.
Understood. Thank you.
No problem.
There's a way of going to the I don't know, whomever, and get them to change their policy to make it a pet-friendly motel type thing instead of having to well, the nearest one is Harlingen.
I've got a gentleman that can go visit with them and got a good relationship with him. Desi can go make that contact. And they've got a good working relationship.
It can be any rougher than some of the customers I've seen walking. You know, at least on my side, having to go to Arlington, which is the closest one, because there's
Can
not
we
one.
get back to the budget?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you, sir.
I can ask him to look at that.
Out of order.
Mark, the last item, when were getting kind of reimbursement from the CDC?
We had put a line item. They help fund some streets that were on the main corridor that within the business district area. But we don't show it straight to debt to retire our debt for that. And I can tell you how much that is. Right now it's 83,000. Whenever we set up those, one of them goes away. 2025. It was a street project that was done, and we valued the ones that are right behind our businesses or on the side, where they used to rotate around in our business district. And then the other part of that was the water and sewer that we're doing the water plant upgrade now. And the other one is the sewer, as Mr. Lopez mentioned about extending sewer service to the west. That was the water development money we got. And so they funded only the parts that were in the business district. They couldn't fund in the residential area. And so we portioned that out. And that's where that would be, but it actually goes straight to debt retirement.
So right now, do we have an amount that we're working with them? Or-
Yes, sir, it's been.
They have to vote on it, I would imagine. I mean,
Yes, they vote. They vote, and that's 83,000.
Okay. I was just curious. I just don't like the idea of CDC funds coming back to the city after we give them the funds. And I know it's a good project. I don't have a problem with that. We do need street improvement, but I don't like the idea of taking money from the city for city projects. I just wanted to make that comment.
Those are done when you're a mayor and is approved unanimously by council, because you had to approve because that's what made the whole project viable and work to be able to utilize those CDC funds. And so it was talked about and it was very detailed on the information that was brought to this board approval, as well as what was brought to the CDC board for approval.
Improving the quality of life.
I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is we have money that we give them, and we take it right back from them. They could use that money for other purposes. I don't have a problem with quality of life. I don't have a problem with fixing streets. All of those things are important. The issue with me is the money, us taking the money that we gave them.
That's all I have on revenue. Next Tuesday we'll have department heads to give start the expenditure part.
Any questions or comments about the budget workshop that was put forth in front of us? We don't need to motion this, right? Mark?
I think you're out of order, sir. I think you already signed up for your comments. You need to sign up, otherwise you can't make any comments.
Yeah, you're allowed to be here. I don't know about the being able to make a comment. Mark, can he make comments? He didn't sign up for a remark.
Generally no, that's for the it's a workshop for you, not the public. You're entitled to allow what you wish to allow. If you'll recall, the attorney suggested against that, because then where does it stop?
Understood. At this time, like I said, we don't need to acknowledge budget workshop item, correct? Correct. Okay. So at this time, it's 8:04. We'll call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.